Good morning. It is still morning. Excellent. How are you diddling? Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another episode of Dazed and Confused, my 3 times a week live show where I'm chatting to you about social media, about video, and essentially trying to get you on that content creation journey, but most importantly, doing stuff for free. I'll explain that in a second. Once a week as well, we also chat to a special guest who we'll be going to talk to today. Going to be chatting to a lady called Kathy Jacks. So we'll chat to her in just a moment. First things first, though, who am I to talk to you about social media and video and everything else? Well, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios, and we're an award-winning visual marketing agency. We're based in the UK, and we help brands and businesses around the globe create content that helps them stand out on social media. Now, that could be video, animation, aerial work, photography, graphics, all sorts of stuff. However, one of the things that became very obvious to me a few years ago was the businesses that I'd love to work with, the smaller brands, the smaller businesses, these new startups, didn't always necessarily have the budget available to them to have content created on a consistent basis. But we all know being on this thing consistent and having people seeing our content on social media is essential. And we all want to give value and so on and so forth. So what can you do if you don't have the budget? So I wanted to try and help those people as much as I could. So I came up with a process. It was stuff I'd talked about in the past, other people had talked about, bastardized it, turned it all into a book, called it How to 9 Times Your Social Media. And it basically takes you through everything from marketing planning through to podcasting and all the stuff that happens in between as well. But most importantly, it's stuff you can do for free. It will not cost you a penny. It will just cost you some time. And that's what these broadcasts are all about, is trying to get you on that content creation journey. Which brings me on to Kathy, somebody who I've worked with, and we've kind of got her on that content creation journey. It's a slowly process, but we're getting there. We're doing more and stuff and podcasts and lives and all that kind of thing. So let me bring in Kathy, or as she likes to be known, Cybermum. Hello, Kathy.
Hi.
How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you. How's lockdown been for you? Has it been a bit of a weird one?
Lockdown with 3 children.
Yeah, I can well imagine.
Yeah, I've well, like millions of others, it's had its ups and downs. It's messed with your head, and yeah, but it's driven me on, obviously, to do some online work, because this is, what really hit me about lockdown is the amount of children that are going to be home more, when a lot of the time their only safe space would have been at school. Yeah. Or with their friends, and a lot of them, the same with domestic abuse, but that's not my niche. Mine is with the children and the ones that would be stuck at home 24 hours a day, and that's how obviously my ideas come to light.
So what is Cybermum? Before we get into why we're going to have a chat, what is Cybermum particularly?
Cybermum, well, I give a lot of content out there, and it can be different things. If there's new laws coming in around child abuse online, I will get that out there. It's an information. I give a lot of information out, and I give my own perspective of things as well. A lot of it is what I feel needs to be done in certain areas, child abuse, because we do have, child abuse itself online, it rose tenfold during lockdown. So basically I give the information out, and I'm also going to be having I got this app made, and I put all the information on there, and I can do push notifications. So if anything new comes out, I will push that out to people and let them know. And what it is, we're going to have a GPS on there as well, this app, and we're going to, basically it is to keep your child safe.
That's what you're trying to aim at, really, is keeping kids safe online more than anything else. That's what Cybermum is all about. And obviously, the reason I wanted to chat to you now is what I just said to you a minute ago, is obviously we're working together anyway, but coming up to Christmas, a lot of people are going to be buying their children devices that they're going to be on from Christmas Day onward, tablets, computers. phones. So I thought it was a great opportunity to talk about the app and what it does. So is the app a way of stopping kids going onto certain sites, or is it purely an information point for the parents so that they know of new apps that are coming up and what those apps actually involve and all that kind of thing?
Yes, they will look out for new apps. Like I said, the GPS is coming out, and we are adding a lot of things in, like alarms, etc., to come in. It will keep safe. I've also done recently. I've done a reward chart, but it's a different reward chart for the children, which it's trying to get them away from their devices for a long period of time, because where they're sat in their rooms on their own, that is the prime time when they can be vulnerable and be drawn in by predators and bullies, etc., so we want to keep them as safe as possible. I've also got a product coming out which is keep them safe on the streets, because we do want to protect these children, and I will be adding so much to this app that it will give the parents so much information, and they're going to learn. If they go onto the app, they can learn about so many other apps, like you said, and they can learn the dangers of them. TikTok is a very big one. Predators thrive in that one, but if kids are locked away in their bedrooms, we can't see the dangers. Whereas if you encourage your child to stay in a communal area of the house, you can see if they're becoming distressed, you can see if they're becoming upset. And maybe that's when, as a parent, you can step in to help that child. Because my belief is the sooner you step in, the sooner you can sort the problem, rather than finding out about something 6 months down the line when the child is extremely distressed, the mental health has gone down. And sadly, it is the truth. We do have children committing suicide through social media, whether it be a predator after them or a bully. And this is what I want to stop. That's my big aim. And that is what I aim to do with this app.
Now, there's going to be people watching this and wondering why on earth you do this. You do have quite a story to tell. I don't want to delve too deeply into it, but why is it Kathy Jacks is doing this particular project?
My big passion is helping children and saving children. Every child should have a voice. Every child should be, they matter. They do matter. They are our future. The reason I do this is back in 2002, my firstborn was killed by his father. That was in my own home, and he was only 2 years old at the time. I can't go into people's homes. I can't save children like that. That's not my authority. I can't just go in. So, he was violently beaten to death. So the closest I can get to saving children from predators, from bullies, from committing suicide is to do it online. Online's a big thing now. Back in 2002, there wasn't really online. I think it was just coming in then, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're kind of at MySpace and Yahoo forums.
Yeah, I was on the borderline, but now everything's online. I can get the message out. I can give people tips to look out for. I didn't really have anything to go on because there was no violence in the household. There was no drink. There was no drugs. It was a complete loss of control. Because my firstborn Ryan, he obviously wanted a drink or something, I don't know, and he's lost his temper. So, but there is a lot of people out there that do have signs. They will have signs, but they will ignore them because a lot of the time you don't want to know. You don't. It's not something you want. It's not going to happen to me. Not in my house. But you need to follow up on those signs. And on the app, again, I put out what signs to look out for. Do not stay in an abusive relationship, even if it's only abuse to yourself and there's no danger to the child that you think. It will go to your child.
You just never know when it's going to spread that far.
Ryan was 2 years old. Like I said, it was out of the blue. I didn't know, and it took 18 months to bury him, because when when he died, they'd done a post-mortem, and the defense team of Lee, that was Ryan's father, he decided that he wanted a post-mortem himself. The defense team never ever done a post-mortem. They just kept putting it off, saying, you know, we're gonna get pathologists, and we're gonna get everyone from America. And we were like, why are you going to America? You know, you got plenty of experts in this country. But that was their way of delaying it. They never had intentions of doing the post-mortem, because it was a black and white cut and shut case. You know, he was the only one in the house. The child was healthy. The child was happy. The next thing, he's on a life support machine in hospital, and that's not a fall down the stairs, because that was his excuse. He fell down the stairs. He didn't fall down the stairs. My boy had 40 injuries on his body, and he had, sorry, sometimes I get a bit,
That's all right.
yes, and he, you know, he had a clump of hair pulled from his head. You know, there was a lot of injuries, and there was no way you could get out of it. You know, you're the only one in the house. You're the adult. So 18 months, we went to court, we went to trial. The murder charge was dropped because they said they couldn't prove that he was there to murder him, so they put it to manslaughter. We got the conviction for manslaughter in prison, and he got 7 years, and he was out in 3.5 years. And we couldn't bury Ryan till after the trial, you know, 18 months later. But there's a lot more to the story, a lot more. There was, you know, it was like the day after he died in the hospital, the police came to me the next day, obviously, to take my statement, even though I wasn't there. And they said that they had some bad news for me. They didn't know where Ryan's body was. Yeah, and I'm like, how can you not know where his body was? He died in the hospital. He died in Southampton Hospital. That's where we turned his life support machine off. It was you know, he lived for 2 days, but eventually his brain swelled and broke his brain stem at the back. But what had happened is they'd done the post-mortem at the hospital, and then they had moved Ryan without informing the police or anyone. So the coroner is running around trying to find Ryan's body, and no one knew where he was. So the police had to get involved and find out where he was, and he'd been moved to Dorchester Hospital, which is in Dorset, where I live. So, you know, we eventually, you know, so there was big alarm bells from the offset, how broken the system is in this country.
Yeah.
And how victims are treated. You know, you don't just lose a 2-year-old's body. And this is how all this came about. You know, obviously I was campaigning for 10 years, and I got the law changed. I was fighting ministers, I was fighting everyone in the Home Office and in Parliament and everywhere, and I got that law changed, and now they cannot hold a body for more than 40 days now, if it's a violent death, because I also, if you look up a chief coroner of England and Wales, that was due to Ryan's law as well. I got a chief coroner, so coroners cannot just keep bodies now, and lawyers cannot just demand that a coroner keeps the body. They have to go to chief coroner, and if the chief coroner doesn't think it's an exceptional circumstance to keep that body, they won't allow it. So yeah, you know, Ryan, his name is there. He got the chief coroner in. He overhauled the coroner service basically, and which is amazing. It was a lot of fighting, and then very draining, as you can imagine, over 10 years and getting laws.
From a horrific story, there is that positive side, that his name will live on as a legacy.
Yes, he's definitely a legacy. You know, I didn't give up. They were, you know, they knew exactly who I was in the end, because it was just like, here's another email from Kathy. Oh dear, Kathy wants another meeting, you know. So I was very persistent, because I knew I couldn't help myself, because our case had been done, you know, it was in the past. I couldn't do anything for that one, but I wanted to help others, and that's where my passion to help children and other families out there came. And now, obviously, years later, now I'm of stable mind again, because I wasn't very stable back then, as you can imagine. You know, it's a big trauma in my life that I'd never expected. You know, and it gave me a massive setback in life, and my life went right off course because this wasn't part of it. But now I'm in a clear mind, and obviously moving forward, you know, it's 18 years now. I am in a position where I can help parents, and I can help other people out there that need the help. And I think the biggest help that's needed is online. It is a big thing for children, and that is where they're at the most danger, I believe.
Yeah, and obviously we're living in a world where they are going to grow up with social media and everything else like that, and it is going to be a huge part of their, not just their children's lives, but their working lives as we go forward as well. It's one of those things where you can't say you can't use it, because what world do we think they're going to grow up in? So we have to make them as safe as we possibly can.
Yeah, we don't want to ban them. You know, this is a way of the world. It's a digital world now, isn't it? So we don't want to put a ban. I'm not about that at all. I'm not about banning. I'm all about rewarding if they come off a bit earlier. And, you know, don't take your phone in the car, and I'm all for rewarding for that. But yes, no, I'm not for banning or taking it away totally, because some children, that is their world. I just think we need to have them near us to see their facial expressions, to see if they're in distress, and also teach them. We need to educate them online about what they need to do. You know, if they're in trouble and mum or dad isn't around, where would you go online to get help? You know, we've got the CEOP button. They could go there and they can report things. You can report things as a parent. And it's amazing how many parents still don't know about that.
I would well imagine, to be honest. Yeah, a lot of parents probably don't even know how to lock down certain features on particular apps and other things as well. So,
yeah, so we need to, you know, there's so many apps, isn't there? And I think there's another one at the moment, Imposter. Have you heard of that one?
Yes, yeah.
Imposter, they're all chatting on there as well. And I haven't come across anything unscrupulous yet. But that's not to say someone else hasn't. So, you know, I'm going to be talking about Imposter in the next couple of days as well, because that's another big app. The kids are really into that. And and we could have a real life imposter in that game, couldn't we? So we need to know and educate our children how to spot someone, and how to, like you said, talk to someone. Don't just let them carry on and as if everything's normal. You know, we need to catch these predators that are after our children. You know, there's no other way to put it. You know, those predators, they're online for children. And that is what I want to, you know, keep everyone safe, keep the children safe on every app, every website, everything part of the internet, basically, the dark side.
Yeah, so you're being a superhero online, effectively. So before I let you go, because I know all hell's going to break loose very soon there anyway, due to the timing. Before I let you go, where can everybody find the app? What do they have to search for? Because I know it's available on Android and I know it's available on iTunes, but what do they have to look for? What do they have to search for?
If they go to my, I've got a Facebook page. That's called Cyber Mum UK. The reason I've put UK on the end is because there's another Cyber Mum, but I think she's Australia. So I'm Cyber Mum UK on Facebook, and then from there you can get my Instagram, which is Cyber Mum UK 2020, and I'm on Instagram also. On those pages, I've got links to my app, and the app is simply called Cyber Mum, and it's got the logo that you have put up here somewhere, I believe.
Yeah, it's on the thumbnail for the video, so people can look at that.
So they can download that. It's totally free. I've put everything out there free. Every piece of information that anyone wants is all on the app for free. And on there, in the next, well, probably today or tomorrow, the social feed's going to be there as well, which is RSS, so you'll have all the updates from all the important Twitter feeds as well. So, and you can chat with me on the app. I'm there to chat. Hi, and you can have a one-to-one with me, or we can join in the community, and everyone can talk, they can chat, they can ask questions. Come straight on. I'll get a notification if you're worried about something. So all the links are on my pages, and
Fantastic.
people can just download from there, and I can see everyone on the app.
Brilliant. Well, what I'll do is I'll make sure all the links to your socials are in the section below. Kathy Jacks, thank you very much for chatting to me today.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Right, you stay where you are. I'm going to just take you away for a second. So thank you to Kathy. What an amazing woman, an amazing app. Go and check it out. Well worth a little bit of time and sifting through some of the information on there. So much value. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. As always, if you're brand new to these live streams, I'll be back again on Friday at an undisclosed time because it's Daddy Daycare Day. So I don't know what time I'll be on, but I will be on at some point where I'll be answering your questions about social media and about video. But until then, it is Wednesday. We're still in a strange time, so please do continue to stay safe and have a great rest of your day. Have a good one.